This is your first Q&A time writing at 160 words per minute. Your proper names are Wilbur S. Dinner, Mr. Dinner, Southwest 8th Street, Jim Tregoning,
Tregoning, I think.
Tregoning, Ms. Schreiner, Randolph Raymond, Mr. Raymond, North Avenue, 15th Street, Daily Dodge, 16th Street, and Caddy Corner. Ready? Would you state your name, please?
Wilbur S. Dinner.
What's your address, please, Mr. Dinner?
2977 Southwest 8th Street.
Mr. Dinner, my name is Jim Tregoning. I represent the defendant in a lawsuit that's going on between Ms. Schreiner and Randolph Raymond, which lawsuit results from a motor vehicle accident which occurred on June 15, 1990. And it's my understanding that you were a witness to at least some portion of the events having to do with that accident. Is that correct?
That's true.
Have you ever given a deposition before?
No.
Have you ever testified in court at all before?
On my own behalf.
Well, a deposition is testimony. I'm just going to give you a little explanation of what we are doing here. A deposition is testimony. The lady here is a court reporter who put you under oath, and she is transcribing, as you can see, everything verbatim in terms of questions that are asked and answers that are given. So that's generally the process. And as the attorney for Ms. Schreiner, I have some questions to ask you to learn what you might know about this incident. And the attorney for Mr. Raymond also may have some questions for you.
Okay.
Now, from the police report that I have reviewed, first of all, this accident is shown to have happened on June 15, 1990. Does that sound about right to you?
Yeah, it's been a year ago.
And the accident happened at the intersection of North Avenue and 15th Street?
Yes, 15th Street and North Avenue.
15th Street and North Avenue. Is it correct that you were working that day at Daily Dodge?
Yes.
And where is Daily Dodge located?
1604 North Avenue.
1604?
North Avenue.
North Avenue? And are you on the northeast corner?
Well, it's on both sides of the street, but it's right on the northwest corner of that intersection.
And were you located in the area of the northeast corner yourself when the accident occurred?
Yes, about 30 to 50 feet to the east of the corner.
Okay.
Right along the cross street. Not along North Avenue, right along the cross street.
So you say you were right along 16th Street on the north sidewalk or curb area of 16th Street?
Yes.
About, did you say 30 to 50 feet east of the intersection?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was 4 cars down, if that helps.
How were these cars parked?
There is one car that goes right into the caddy corner.
In the caddy corner angle?
And it's up on a ramp.
Okay.
Then there were 3 cars directly facing south.
Then you were standing to the east of the 4th car. These cars, are they actually pulled right up to the curb? Is there a sidewalk there?
There are some blocks in front of the sidewalk, and they are pulled right up to that.
Were you on the sidewalk or in the lot?
I was walking toward the door from the sidewalk. So I was toward the front end of the car.
You were walking toward a car door? Were you walking toward a car door?
I was going around the front of the cars to get the keys, locking the cars and getting keys for them to close up that evening.
Had you gotten the key yet out of that 4th?
No.
One? Had you already gotten it out of the other 3?
Yes.
And that was going to be your last one?
Oh, there's 3 or 4 others on down the road.
So your progress had generally been from west to east as you are picking up the keys?
Yes.
You indicated you were walking toward this door. Was it the driver's side door you were walking toward? And you had just come around the front of it and you were turning back toward the driver's side door? So were you actually facing in a westerly direction when the accident occurred?
No. When I heard the skid marks, or the skid, I was actually walking north toward the car door and looked off like this. And that's when I saw it.
You indicated looking over your left shoulder.
Uh-huh.
So you were walking toward the car door. Would you say then you were walking in a northerly direction toward the car door?
Yes, sir.
So you were walking kind of northerly along the side of the car when you heard the skids and you looked back to your left over your left shoulder.
Yes.
Now, the police report indicates the time of the accident as being about 7 o'clock. Does that sound right to you?
Yeah, because we closed.
Okay, this is your second Q&A time writing at 160 words per minute. Your proper names are Ms. Schreiner, Geo, North Avenue, and 16th Street. Ready? My understanding of the accident is that Ms. Schreiner was crossing the intersection in a westbound direction in her Geo when the impact occurred with this motorcycle traveling northbound.
Yes.
Let me ask you if at any time before the accident actually occurred, had you seen this Geo that was ultimately involved in the accident?
Yes.
Tell me about that.
As I was walking around the cars, I looked over and I saw it stopped at the intersection.
When you say stopped at the intersection, are you referring to the intersection of North Avenue and 16th Street?
Yes. It was stopped at the corner. There is a stop sign there and it was stopped at the corner.
So it was stopped at that corner. Was it facing westbound?
Yes.
Do you have any recollection of specifically where it was stopped in relationship to the stop sign or the sidewalk?
There were 2 or 3 vehicles there. There was that vehicle and I believe a truck behind it.
Was it stopped just essentially where you expect a car to be stopped for a stop sign?
Yes.
There was nothing out of the ordinary.
No.
In other words, in terms of where it was stopped, that comes to mind?
No.
At the time you saw the car, was it the first car? You said there were several cars there. Was it the number one car there, or were there other cars in front of it at the stop sign?
No, I don't believe so. It was the number 1 car. They are always coming and stopping and going. I just remember it being in that position when I looked up or kind of glanced over as I was going around the cars.
And it was at a stop?
Yes.
Can you estimate in time how much time elapsed from the time that you happened to notice this car stopped there at the stop sign and then the time when you heard the squeal of tires and looked back over your shoulder?
Not more than 10 seconds.
Did you make any further observation of that Geo after this time that you have just described when you saw it at the stop sign?
No, not until after the accident happened.
Between the time that you noticed this Geo stopped at the stop sign and the time that the squealing of tires occurred, did you make any observations, either with your eyes or ears, of anything that you think is related to this accident? That is, of the motorcycle coming or anything?
Nothing. At least nothing that I can recall now.
Please describe what you recall about having heard skidding and what you saw when you looked over your shoulder.
I heard the skidding and I glanced over and I saw the motorcycle with the nose down and it was going in a straight direction right up the ramp. You see, there was a van that was parked up on the ramp on the corner and I saw the motorcycle come up to where the van was and then I heard a crash and saw the motorcycle driver come up in the air and then come back down again. I ran around the corner of the van, and at that time the Geo was just rolling over on its top and the motorcycle was laying down and the person that was driving the motorcycle was laying on the road, and I thought for sure he was dead.
It was the sound of the skidding that caused you to glance around?
Yes, sir, that's right.
But you don't feel that you actually did observe the motorcycle for sufficient time and distance to be able to give an estimate, in testimony at least, as to its speed?
No, sir. I can't estimate its speed.
As you saw the motorcycle skidding, were you able to see the Geo at the same time, or was it obscured by this van?
It was basically obscured. I don't remember seeing it. I remember seeing the motorcycle, and then I remember hearing the impact. And I remember the driver going up in the air and coming back down.
Okay, you saw the motorcycle and heard the impact?
I heard the impact. I didn't actually see it.
Did you see any other cars at the time you saw the motorcycle skidding toward the impact? Did you see any other vehicles traveling on North Avenue in the same direction as the motorcycle?
No, I sure didn't.
The police report, in referring to you, says he then saw the motorcycle strike the vehicle on the driver's side door. He saw the driver of the motorcycle flip over the car and then land on the pavement. Is that inaccurate where it says you actually saw? What's this? Tig? Tig?
Ty, I think.
Ty? I'm the worst at pronouncing these names. Ty. I don't know. Or Tig-he? No, I don't know. Tig-he. Ty?
I think Ty.
Okay. This is your first Q&A time. Writing at 140 words per minute. Your proper names are Mr. Ty, Mr. Sand, Delmar Construction Company, Star Steel Corporation, Delmar, Star Steel, and Mr. Brown. Ready? Mr. Ty, I would like to make one thing clear for the record. You are not represented by counsel. Is that right?
That's right.
You have waived your right to counsel at this time.
Yes, I have.
Could you just briefly tell me why you are not represented by counsel?
I feel I am capable of handling the preliminaries.
All right. Mr. Ty, did you and Mr. Sand of Delmar Construction Company have a meeting on September 18, 1986?
Yes, we had a meeting.
Where was this meeting held?
At your office.
This meeting was held as a result of the dispute over construction extras that you feel entitled to. Is that right?
That's right.
I was also present at that meeting, right?
Right.
Just the three of us were there.
That's correct.
The three of us discussed at length your request for extras on the change orders. Is that right?
That's right.
You were made aware that Delmar Construction Company was concerned that the balance had not been paid on the Star Steel Corporation bill, right?
Right. We also discussed the problem on the first order, on the changes in the first order.
All right. That is the last meeting that you have had personally with Mr. Sand. Is that right?
Yes, it was. That's right.
Do you recall how long that meeting lasted?
I am not really sure.
Would you say 30 to 45 minutes?
I would assume that. I would guess that's about right.
All right. It was agreed at that meeting that Delmar was owed $3,200 from you as a result of the Star Steel bill. Do you recall that compromise?
I don't believe so. I do not recall that. That would not make sense as far as the contract is concerned.
You had a claim for change orders of approximately $2,000, correct?
That's correct. Wait a minute. It was actually more than $2,000.
That had not been approved?
That is correct.
Delmar Construction claimed that it had overpaid you $4,000 because of the amount of the Star Steel bill. Is that correct?
No, I am not sure that's correct.
Delmar paid the Star Steel bill on your behalf. In other words, would it be fair to say that Delmar Construction Company paid the monies that were due and owing to Star Steel Company by you, Mr. Ty?
I believe so.
Mr. Brown of Star Steel told you that, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Mr. Sand informed you at the meeting we had that as a result of the Star Steel bill, Delmar had paid $4,100 more on the subcontract with you than the subcontract called for. Do you recall that?
That is not correct.
Are you saying that he did not say anything like that?
I don't believe he did. That certainly is not true as far as the contract is concerned.
Let's get to the point, Mr. Ty. As a result of that meeting, it was agreed that you would pay Delmar Construction Company $3,200 in settlement of the claim Delmar had against you. Is that right?
I don't remember that, no.
Do you deny that agreement took place?
Yes, I do. It's spelled out in the answer to the claim.
I understand that. Let me refresh your recollection then. It was agreed that you would bring a cashier's check or certified funds to Delmar's office within 7 days from September 18. Didn't you agree to do that?
No, I did not.
And that you would sign a note payable without interest for the balance of the $1,200.
No, I sure don't remember that. That is probably what you wanted, but that doesn't mean it's true.
Do you deny that you agreed to that?
Yes, I deny that I agreed to do anything like that.
All right. What do you recall was the agreement at that meeting that was held on the 18th of September?
We talked about the Star Steel deal and what the balance due was.
Are you saying that we did? This is your second Q&A time writing at 140 words per minute. Your proper names are Kent Andrews, Don Sanders, Kurt Campbell, Joe Adams, Mr. Andrews, Kurt, Don, Kurt and Don Sanders, and Sanders. Ready? Approximately how long was Kent away from the party?
I'd say about an hour and a half.
What were you and the other party guests doing when Kent was gone?
Just drinking beer and listening to music and talking.
Did you hear any of the people at the party express their anger because of the length of time that Kent Andrews was gone?
No, not really.
Did Kent Andrews eventually return?
Yes.
Prior to him driving up, did you notice that he was coming into the driveway?
Yes. A few people did because we walked outside when he was pulling up.
Who walked outside?
It was Don Sanders and Kurt Campbell and Joe Adams and me and a couple other people.
And how far from the trailer did Mr. Andrews park the pickup?
Just a few feet.
In terms of distance between myself and you, to your recollection, what would be the distance?
It would be about the same distance from me to you is where he parked the truck from where the porch was at.
Of the people that came from the trailer, what was the mood of the group?
Mad. They were pretty ticked off because he was gone for so long.
What did you see Kent Andrews do?
Get out of the truck, and he started walking back towards the trailer.
Anybody say anything to him?
Well, Kurt and Don were arguing, and I argued with him because he had some money of mine and I wanted that back. And he did give me $7 back, and I asked him what happened to the other. That's when he said that he put it in for gas. And then voices got a little bit louder, and then there was a swing, and then Kent backed out and he said he didn't want to fight. He had enough. And that's when a few people, Kurt and Don Sanders and Joe Adams, jumped in and were kicking him around on the ground.
Who initiated the first swing to your recollection?
Kurt Campbell.
Did he connect?
Yes. He hit him in the face, side of the jaw.
Kent's reaction at that time was to try to talk to them out of the fight?
Yes. He backed up a few feet and held his jaw like that and said he didn't want to fight. And that's when Sanders jumped over there and they started kicking him. And he was down on the ground, and I was watching a little bit of it. and I walked back into the house. And Don Sanders walked back in, and Kurt walked back in, and I waited a few minutes, and I walked outside because I heard somebody say he was beat up really bad. So I walked outside to see if he was all right. And when I walked out the door, he was gone. I don't know where he had went.
You didn't see him at that point in time?
No.
At that time, what was the physical size of Don Sanders?
He's a pretty big guy.
Can you give an estimate of his height?
Oh, he's taller than I am. He's probably as big as Kent. I'm not sure. A little bit smaller, but he's huskier.
Pretty good build?
Yes.
How about Joe Adams? How large was he?
He's a fairly big guy. Just about the same, I'd say.
Did Kent Andrews swing at anybody?
No.
Did he say anything that would tend to make any of the people that were outside angry by his comments?
No. All I heard him say was that he just didn't want to fight. And he tried to get out of it, but it didn't work.
You were requested to give a statement to the police, were you not?
Yes.
And that was on October 25, 1987?
Roughly that date. I can't really remember that date.
In that statement, did you tell police investigators substantially the same things you are testifying to today?
Yes.
Did you tell police investigators that Kent Andrews admitted to you that he will be seeking revenge against Kurt Campbell?
Kent was very angry and told me Kurt wouldn't get away